Best Comeback Stories compilation. Welcome to Malcolm's AI Agents Compilations, where we believe in the transformative power of the human spirit. At Malcolm's AI Agents, we harness the power of inspiring narratives to fuel your daily drive. Our curated collection of stories highlights the journeys of remarkable individuals who transform challenges into triumphs. By showcasing their resilience, ingenuity, and unique perspectives, we provide a consistent source of motivation. These stories serve as a powerful reminder that your struggles are part of a shared human experience and that success is truly achievable through perseverance and innovative thought. Repeatedly engaging with these powerful narratives will strengthen your resolve and inspire you to keep pushing forward on your goals and dreams. Let these stories reinforce your belief that what you are working on is possible. Fired from his own company became the best thing that ever happened to Steve Jobs. When Apple's board kicked him out in 1985, everyone thought his career was over, but that failure, it was actually his launchpad. During his wilderness years, Jobs created Next, developing revolutionary software that would later become the foundation for modern Apple operating systems. Then he bought a little animation studio called Pixar for $10 million and turned it into a billion-dollar empire. When Apple was dying in 1997, they desperately needed what Jobs had built at Next. They acquired his company for $429 million, bringing Jobs back as CEO. He transformed Apple from near bankruptcy into the world's most valuable company. That painful firing wasn't his end, it was his reinvention. Without those years of failure and rebuilding, there would be no iPhone, no iPad, no Apple as we know it today. Soichiro Honda's factory was bombed twice during World War II, leaving him with nothing but rubble and broken dreams. Most people would have given up, declared bankruptcy, and walked away from the devastation. But Honda saw opportunity where others saw only destruction. He sold whatever was left of his destroyed factory and used that money to buy small engines. His brilliant idea was simple: attach these engines to bicycles to help people get around in post-war Japan when gasoline was scarce and cars were unaffordable. He started building these motorized bicycles in a tiny shed with just a handful of workers. What began as a desperate attempt to survive became the foundation of Honda Motor Company, one of the world's largest automotive manufacturers. Honda's story proves that sometimes your biggest failure is just clearing the path for your greatest success. The same man who watched his dreams burn to the ground built an empire that would eventually employ hundreds of thousands of people worldwide and revolutionize transportation forever. Share this if you believe in your power to rise. George Foreman became the oldest heavyweight champion in boxing history at 45 years old, but his real victory wasn't in the ring. After losing everything and falling into depression, most fighters would have stayed retired. George spent 10 years soul-searching, finding faith, and completely rebuilding himself from the ground up. When he announced his comeback, the entire boxing world laughed. Critics called him washed up, too old, delusional. His own family begged him not to embarrass himself, but George had discovered something more powerful than youth or speed during those years away from boxing. He had found unbreakable mental strength. The night he reclaimed the heavyweight title, he didn't just silence the doubters. He rewrote the rules about what's possible when you refuse to accept limitations. But here's the kicker: his biggest knockout wasn't against another boxer. It was in business, where he built a $100 million empire selling grills with his name on them. George proved that your greatest comeback can happen at any age when you combine faith with relentless determination. Tina Turner escaped decades of brutal abuse and transformed into one of music's most powerful icons. Born Anna Mae Bullock in rural Tennessee, she endured horrific domestic violence at the hands of Ike Turner for nearly 2 decades. The woman who would become the queen of rock and roll was trapped in a nightmare that nearly destroyed her spirit. But something extraordinary happened when she finally broke free in 1976. With just 36 cents in her pocket and a mobile credit card, she walked away from everything. The music industry wrote her off as washed up at 40. Record labels wouldn't touch her. Critics said her time was over. They were all wrong. Tina didn't just survive, she exploded back onto the scene with a vengeance. Her 1984 comeback album went multi-platinum. She filled stadiums worldwide with her raw, electric energy. Her legs became legendary, her voice more powerful than ever. What makes Tina's story incredible isn't just the abuse she survived, it's how she transformed that pain into pure artistic fire. She proved that your darkest chapter doesn't define your ending. Football failed, but he kept fighting. Dwayne Johnson had just $7 in his pocket when his NFL dreams completely collapsed after college. Most people would have thrown in the towel right there, but something inside him refused to quit. He pivoted hard into professional wrestling, a world nobody saw coming. Every night he got slammed, every crowd that booed him. He used it all as rocket fuel. The guy was obsessed with turning his pain into power. When Hollywood started knocking, everyone said wrestlers can't act. Wrong again. He studied acting like his life depended on it, took classes, worked with coaches, treated every rejection like a masterclass. Now he's literally the highest paid actor on the planet. From $7 to 7 figures because he understood something most people miss completely. Failure isn't your story ending, it's just chapter 1 of your comeback. That crushing defeat you're facing right now could be the exact thing that launches you into greatness. The question isn't whether you'll get knocked down, the question is what you'll build from the wreckage. Robert Downey Jr. went from actual prison mugshots to becoming the highest paid actor in Hollywood. This guy was so messed up on drugs that studios literally couldn't get insurance to cover him in movies. Insurance companies were like, nope, this dude is too risky. His career was basically over. He got arrested multiple times, spent actual time in prison, and everyone in Hollywood wrote him off as another cautionary tale. But here's where it gets crazy. After he got clean, Marvel took a massive gamble on him for Iron Man. And get this, they picked him specifically because his real-life story of hitting rock bottom and clawing his way back up was exactly like Tony Stark's character arc. The dude who played a genius billionaire superhero was literally broke and unemployable just a few years earlier. And it worked so perfectly that he became the foundation of the entire Marvel Cinematic Universe. Now he's worth like $300 million and is considered one of the greatest comeback stories in entertainment history. Sometimes life really does imitate art. Muhammad Ali lost everything at the peak of his career because he refused to fight in Vietnam. The heavyweight champion of the world, making millions and beloved globally, threw it all away for his principles. The government stripped his boxing license, banned him from fighting anywhere in America, and he faced 5 years in prison. This wasn't just any athlete taking a stand. This was the most famous boxer alive, choosing conscience over cash. For 3.5 years, Ali couldn't fight professionally. His prime years, ages 25 to 28, completely wasted. The public turned on him, calling him a traitor and coward, but Ali never backed down, saying he had no quarrel with the Viet Cong and wouldn't kill poor people for rich people's wars. When he finally returned to boxing, many thought he'd lost his edge. Instead, he proved his greatness all over again. Then Parkinson's disease began stealing his legendary speed and sharp tongue. The man who once floated like a butterfly could barely speak above a whisper. Yet at the Olympics, watching him light that torch with trembling hands, the whole world remembered why he truly was the greatest.
What if getting fired was the best thing that ever happened? In 1985, Apple's board kicked him out, and everyone thought it was over. But that failure became his greatest catalyst for growth. During his wilderness years, he created Next, a tech company. Next technology eventually laid the foundation for modern Mac OS. He also bought Pixar for just $10 million. Years later, Pixar sold to Disney for a staggering $7.4 billion. In 1997, Apple was failing and needed what Jobs had built. They acquired Next and brought back the man they discarded. Jobs called his firing the best thing that could have happened to me. Sometimes, your greatest setbacks set you up for an incredible comeback? What if your next setback is just the beginning of your success story?
Feeling knocked down by a challenge or setback? What if your biggest failure was just the beginning? Imagine pouring your heart into something only to see it destroyed. Soichiro Honda faced this when his factory was bombed. Twice. Everything he built seemed lost. Most would quit, but his spirit refused to break. Instead of giving up, Honda saw opportunity in the ruins. He salvaged what he could, fueled by an unstoppable vision. He started small, putting engines on bikes, helping a nation move forward. This wasn't just survival. It was the spark of greatness. From that determination, Honda Motor Co. was born. His story proves that setbacks aren't endings, they're launch pads. When life gets tough, remember Honda. Your resilience is your superpower. Don't let failure define you. Let it fuel you. Ready to turn your setbacks into comebacks? Share this if you believe in your power to rise. What challenge are you ready to conquer next? George Foreman, Olympic gold, heavyweight king. Then came the fall, the doubt, pushing him from the ring into a different kind of fight. Most would stay down, but not a true champion. He spent a decade reflecting, finding faith, building anew. But that hunger for greatness? It never died. At 45, the oldest challenger ever, he stepped back in, defying every single expectation. He didn't just fight, he triumphed, reclaiming his crown. His drive didn't stop there. He built a business empire, proving a setback is just a setup for your next big comeback. George Foreman's story is about an unyielding spirit. With unstoppable drive, you too can always find a way to win, in the ring and in life.
You know what? I want to share with you a story of resilience that will touch your soul. Tina Turner, born Anna Mae Bullock in rural Tennessee, she endured horrific domestic violence that nearly crushed her spirit. But let me tell you something. There was a fire inside her that refused to be extinguished. At her lowest point, with just 36 cents and a gas station credit card, she made the bravest decision of her life, to walk away from everything. Now listen, the industry wrote her off. She was in her 40s, broke, and starting over completely. Most people believed her career was dead. But here's the truth. Tina wasn't finished. By the 80s, well, she exploded back onto the scene with a vengeance. Private Dancer became a global phenomenon. She wasn't just singing, she was declaring her independence to the world. Tina proved that your past doesn't define your future. She showed millions that you can rewrite your story at any age. That survival isn't just about enduring, it's about thriving beyond your wildest dreams. I believe we all have that same power within us, waiting to be unleashed.
Hey there, I'm Dwayne Johnson, but you might know me better as The Rock. Once upon a time, I was just a small pebble with big dreams of making it to the NFL. But life had other plans. My football career crushed. My pockets empty. Just $7 to my name. Most people would have given up right there. But you know what? That's not how this pebble rolls. I took that crushing defeat and used it as fuel. It was time to cook up a new dream. I dove headfirst into the wild world of professional wrestling. Every setback? Just another chance to electrify the crowd. With each body slam, with each "can you smell what The Rock is cooking?" this pebble was growing stronger. Then Hollywood came calling. The odds were stacked against me, but I kept pushing, learning, growing, from empty pockets to the highest paid actor on the planet. This pebble had become The Rock. Remember, jabroni, failure isn't the end of your story. It's just the beginning of your comeback tour. Hey there, I'm Robert Downey Jr., and boy, do I have a story for you. Once upon a time, I was Hollywood's favorite bad boy. And by bad, I mean really bad. Drugs, arrests, breaking into houses, I was a walking disaster. Hollywood basically said thanks, but no thanks. My career, toast. But then I thought, hey, maybe it's time to try this being responsible thing. Rehab, small roles, rebuilding, and baby steps, you know? Then came the big break. Marvel wanted me for Iron Man. Me! The guy who couldn't get insured. It was a gamble, but sometimes the biggest risks pay off big time. The movie was a hit, and suddenly I'm the face of the biggest franchise in history.
He was the greatest in the ring, a master of skill and showmanship. But Muhammad Ali's toughest fights weren't under the bright lights. He took a bold stand against war, a choice that cost him his title and career in his prime. Stripped and scorned, his conviction never wavered. Then came a cruel opponent, Parkinson's, stealing his lightning speed and powerful voice. A man defined by physical and verbal power, now battling his own body. Yet, he persevered, becoming a symbol of courage and dignity for millions. His spirit, unbroken by ostracism or illness, showed us true resilience. Ali's legacy isn't just boxing, it's the power of standing firm and fighting on. His story proves that even when everything is taken, your spirit can remain undefeated. You too can face your challenges and become the greatest.
Soichiro Honda lost everything twice and still built a billion-dollar empire. His factory was bombed to rubble during World War II, leaving him with nothing but scrap metal and shattered dreams. Most people would have given up, but Honda saw opportunity where others saw devastation. He sold what little remained of his destroyed business and made a decision that would change transportation forever. Instead of mourning his losses, he started attaching tiny engines to bicycles in his garage. That simple idea of motorized bicycles became the foundation of Honda Motor Company. From those humble beginnings in a bombed-out country, he built one of the world's largest automotive empires. His motorcycles and cars now dominate roads across every continent. The man who lost everything twice proved that your biggest failures can become your greatest launching pad. Sometimes you have to lose it all to discover what you're truly capable of building. Share this if you believe in your power to rise.
Thank you for watching our compilation video. If you found these stories motivating, please like this video, subscribe to our channel, and share your thoughts in the comments below. Your support helps us continue creating content designed to inspire and empower you. We look forward to bringing you more videos to keep you motivated on your journey.